What do you think about the current trajectory of the country? As it is today, do you think that we are going in the right direction? Let's start with Aisha.
I don't even know where to start from that question because there's no country anymore. As we are today, Nigeria is gone. What we have is a carcass. And unfortunately, we do not have a president. We have someone who rigged his way into office, an illegitimate president, and who doesn't care. And of course, anyone who is ready to do anything, snatch it, run with it, and all of that to get into office, they don't care about the people. They don't care. There's no empathy.
You asked about trajectory and if we are going in the right direction. And I say we are not going in any direction. That's the biggest problem.
Hello guys, welcome once again to Think Tank TV. Now we all know about the insecurity in Nigeria, how that it seems as though our so-called leaders who give Nigerians all the promises during the electioneering period and the campaign as though they have a magic wand to solve the problems of the nation in just few weeks and few months, have become confused. Yes, they seem to have resorted to the blame game, where you see a leader who has been voted into office allegedly come out to begin to do the blame game of blaming Nigerians who do not have the constitutional right and authority to effect any major change in the country, blaming them for the wrongs in the government. In a bid for self-help and in a bid to solve the security situation in the various regions of Nigeria, just a few days ago, we saw the governor of Zamfara State in person of Garuba Lawal inaugurating and attending the passing out parade of what we call the Zamfara Protective Guard. Not just that, we have the likes of Amotekun in the southwestern part of Nigeria, we have the likes of Ibuago in the southeastern part of Nigeria, and others who have resorted to self-help in a bid to resolve the issues of security. Now, a lot of people have suggested for state police, but in this video, I would like you to hear a very constructive and informative interview that was held by Channels Television in a program called V0LÜT, where we had the likes of Aisha Yesufu and Omoyele Sowore, who is the presidential candidate of the AA political party, have a very insightful interview. In this interview, they have dug deep as to what they think the solution is to the nation called Nigeria. Please do want to put on your seatbelt and get the full details for yourself, but don't go anywhere because I'll be coming back to give you my own side of the story.
What do you think about the current trajectory of the country? As it is today, do you think that we are going in the right direction? Let's start with Aisha.
I don't even know where to start from that question because there's no country anymore. As we are today, Nigeria is gone. What we have is a carcass, and life is short and brutish, and we're all on edge. We are the victimhood that a lot of people refuse to see coming to us. We are all there. And unfortunately, we do not have a president. We have someone who rigged his way into office, an illegitimate president, and who doesn't care. And of course, anyone who is ready to do anything, snatch it, run with it, and all of that to get into office, they don't care about the people. They don't care. There's no empathy. And that's what we're seeing today. And Nigeria has gotten into a place where you're not even sure that you're going to see the next day because you might be a victim, might be taken away even from inside your own house, and that's where Nigeria is right now.
Okay, so as an opening statement, yeah, sure.
Well, you asked about trajectory and if we are going in the right direction. And I say we are not going in any direction. That's the biggest problem. You can only tell about direction if there is, from a geographical point of view, there's any kind of movement. Here you see a lot of motion, there is no movement. And if there's any movement at all, it's a movement that is going backwards. And Nigerians, or Nigeria, is paying heavily for both their decisions and their indecisions. Their decisions in deciding, for those who decided on this trajectory, and the indecision of those who did nothing. And that's why you cannot say, and I agree with Aisha, that you have a country today. We've never had a nation. I've argued this all the time, that Nigeria was never a nation. It was a transaction from the beginning. And that next step is what we haven't been able to make because we never also have had the kind of leaders that are visionary, that are capable of driving you in the right direction since I have been in Nigeria, which is 1971.
Well, okay, so it's a very nice way to get into it. Now, let's get deeper into the issues, So, Aisha, there is the notion, that of the rule of law. Okay. now, even though we can always point to challenges, because you did say that the president is illegitimate now, after the Supreme Court has ruled, you still don't accept that in the circumstances you have a sitting president in the eye of the law, even with whatever problems we have with that.
I think to answer your question, you saw the last ruling that happened of the governors and the Supreme Court, and how everybody was praising Mr. Tinubu for the fact that he didn't interfere and they were able to retain that tells you everything. And as I'm sitting down here today, I'm quite sort of like taken aback that the Supreme Court didn't see how that made them to look. Because right now what we know, and that's the secret, or the open secret, that the courts are no longer the last resort of the common man. They are now like the plaything of corrupt politicians. And these corrupt politicians, they don't care, and they're saying it, they say it openly. We've seen all of that. We saw the Senator Bukachua, what he said. And so it's not about me accepting it or not accepting it. It's it's on ground. Rule of law is sacrosanct, and it's supposed to be on everybody. Right now, we've seen the different kind of decisions that have been made by the courts. So the way it goes, the court itself, there's no independence. We have judiciary capture, we have media capture, everything there seems to be, even the legislative capture, it's under sort of like one party, one person doing whatever they want to do with it. And at the end of the day, every Nigerian is suffering. There's something many people say. They say Nigerians don't react. Now, no matter how much you push Nigeria to the walls, they don't react. They say Nigerians are reacting. The people who are killing, they are reacting. That's their own form of protest. Their own is an illegal form of protest, because the legal form of protest, they've clamped down on it. They've stopped people from doing that. And every one of us is suffering because there are some people who no longer see any hope. Because when you go to the courts, and if you see a lot of people that have given up on the nation, they know even when they go to the courts, they won't get anything. So they take the laws into their hands. And the rest of us that are law-abiding are the ones who are being punished by the state. The Nigerian state would rather have a conversation with you, negotiate with you when you carry arms against the country. But when you are law-abiding, it clamps on you, it kills you, and it just disposes of you the way it wants to.
Interesting. Okay, so let me take it to Sowore. Basically, both of you have the same view. Not that I'm surprised, but it makes it quite exciting. So, what is the way out? Is there a legitimate path, out of this trajectory? I'm going to start with Sowore and then we'll come to Aisha.
I think any way that saves people from the doom and destruction that has become their lot is legitimate. And I say this so that people are very clear about where I stand on Nigerian issues. Earlier, I agree with Aisha that there is no country. Where I disagree or differ from them and their party was their own brazen hope, I call it brazen, that the judiciary was somehow going to deliver differently in the 2023 election, because it has been very clear from the election, from the primaries at the party level, the conduct of INEC, that they were not planning an election. So when the elections were over, and there was this eye on the judiciary, I was wondering which eye, which judiciary are you eyeing? Because I understand the judiciary right from my university days. I have been expelled, went to court, judges did not deliver justice. So the way I agree with her is the issue of legitimacy. You see, something can be legal and be legitimate. A human being can be born as a legal human being, but the process of birth might be illegitimate if it doesn't go through what is legit. So I agree with her that you have a right to reject a system or a precedent that did not come legitimately, as it's been decided by, or ought to have been decided by the rule of law. But we're not dealing with a country that respects any laws. The laws here are like cobwebs. They are only meant for ants, and the elephants walk past them without even knowing them. So it's a country that is created for two categories of citizens. Yeah. And that is why I have always advocated, and I'm never afraid to say that something massive, something urgent, and something revolutionary must happen in Nigeria for us to change course. This course will continue, They have already rigged even the next election. If we go by how they have populated INEC already. You know, in the US, where you and I spent some years, if one person was going to the Supreme Court, the country was shut down. There will be conversations. They'll go and look at where he was standing when he was in primary one. If he was backing the flag or he was in front of it. If he plucked somebody's coconut, you know, if he took somebody's eraser. Here in this country, there were over 11 Supreme Court judges that were just smuggled into the Supreme Court, and nobody talked about it. In fact, the media did not talk about it. The public are not aware. Nobody knows who these new judges are. Nobody did any background checks on them. So, in 4 years, we're going to have election. The person who anointed those Supreme Court judges, 11 of them, as we speak, controls what you would call justice. And this is not going to change except the citizens said, no, enough is enough. We are not taking this any longer. And that is why I advocate for a revolution, not a violent one, because I don't believe in violence. But it is up to those who are hurting to decide how they want to fight this.
Okay, interesting point. So as I bring it back to Aisha, you supported the Labour Party presidential candidate, you know, which suggests to me that you probably have the belief that we can change it through getting some people in government. You know, is that your own approach to try to fix the trajectory that you think is not right?
Yeah, so for me, absolutely. Political activism is very important. Staying out of politics and saying that, by the way, I'm not a member of the Labour Party. I say a lot of people make that assumption. I'm a supporter because I believe in candidacy more than I do of party. If you have people that can do the work. As much as activism and politics, the end result is supposed to be for the greater good of the people. Where those who are on the side of advocate and like, this is the problem, then those who are in the political side who get into office, who get elected, you know, fix the problem. So it's that, you know, demand and supply side of governance that Dr. Obiel Zokwesili would always talk about. And so for me, it's very important for people to begin to participate. We have to participate in that politics, as flawed as it is. Yes, I totally agree that the capture of judiciary didn't start today. I mean, we saw in 2015 when the Supreme Court said that the card reader was not admissible in the law. And that sort of like changed the course of all the, you know, the electoral reform that was done at that time. So we've seen a lot of things that have gone on. But we must still continue to take on the system. One of the things that we don't take into cognizance is the fact that the first set of dictators that many Nigerians, or if not all Nigerians met, were actually from the home, were parents. We're brought up in a society where, as a younger person, you can't speak up. You don't speak up to your parents. You don't challenge them. You don't ask them, why did they do this? You'll be called disrespectful. You'll be called a stubborn child. For those of us that did as kids, we got a lot of beating. So, and then people went on. Teachers also continued the suppression, and people became adults, and they simply replaced their parents' teachers with government. So some people feel that, oh, you can't challenge government, you can't do that. So it's going to take a long time. It's a mindset thing that will happen. But the thing is that it's inevitable. Like Sowore said, of course, the bloody revolution is always the best. A bloody revolution doesn't take anyone anywhere. You either have and it's inevitable. We either have a bloodless revolution or a bloody revolution.
There is no longer a country called Nigeria. Remarkable indeed, and strong words coming from Aisha Yesufu. Now, many have suggested that Nigeria needs a state police. I agree with them, but this is where my exception is. I just hope that our governors will not take advantage of the state police in their own favor to use the state police against opposition political parties. That is where the exception is. Because it's obvious that most of our politicians who smuggle their way into office are nothing but kleptocrats. The truth of the matter is that if a person smuggles himself into power without the generality of the support of the people, his allegiance will only be to that person that caused him to get into power. Just like a video I shared yesterday of Usman Ododo of Kogi State, who came out boldly to say that the people of Kogi State should rightly take orders from the past governor, who is Yahaya Bello. It's obvious that because Yahaya Bello brought him into office, he had no other option than to give his allegiance to Yahaya Bello. And that is exactly what Aisha Yesufu and Omoyele Sowore is saying, that politicians who get into power must first of all get the allegiance of the people. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for them to come out and do the bidding of the people. We all have a role in this. Some people will be like, it's not my business, I don't care. But you can see for yourself that the era when people never had interest in Nigerian politics has gone. Why? Because they have come in contact with the harsh realities of the decisions they either made or did not make. Because if you decide not to get involved in the processes of the person that gets into power, at the end of the day, the implications of the economy will get you in your houses. So our duty is to make sure that in our own little way, we create a perception to let the politicians know that people are becoming aware and they cannot just get into office and do what they want, how they want it. Please, I'd like you to go to the comment section and drop your thoughts. Let's get to know what you think about the current happenings in the Nigerian political space, and we shall continually be here to serve you. Please also do want to hit the like button, because I want YouTube to recommend this video to go to many people as much as it can, so that people can get to become aware of what exactly is happening in the Nigerian space. Many thanks indeed to all our viewers and returning subscribers. We really do not take it lightly. My name again is Moses, and this is Think Tank TV. See you on our next video. Bye for now.